of the United States. These edicts define something we call the doctrine of discovery. Approximately 555 years after these edicts from the Pope, why did the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues declare this doctrine of discovery, quote, the foundation of the violation of indigenous peoples' human rights, end quote? For most Americans, the answers to these questions take us on an uncharted journey into the rough waters of our nation's past. Are you braced for possible seasickness? Hi, I'm Tom Army, and this is United States History Online. So what was this doctrine of discovery? In the 15th century, Portugal began a crusade of expansion into North Africa. King Alfonso V sought the moral authority of the church for his quest for a land-grabbing monopoly. Pope Nicholas V responded to the king in an encyclical he titled Dum Diversas, which granted Alfonso the right to claim and conquer land in North and West Africa, plus the right to capture and vanquish Saracens, who were Muslims, and pagans, and consign them to, quote, perpetual servitude, end quote. 40 years later, Pope Alexander VI, the last Spanish pope, issued a similar papal bull entitled Inter Cetera, granting Christopher Columbus the right to claim the Western Hemisphere for Catholic Spain. Pope Alexander VI gave Spain the exclusive right to discover, possess, and trade all lands west of a demarcation line 100 leagues west of the Azores and Cape Verde Islands. Indigenous people on those lands had only a right of occupancy, and even that right could be abolished. The doctrine of discovery became the legal justification of all European and eventually of all American land claims in this hemisphere. Indeed, in 1792, Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson declared the doctrine of discovery would carry over from Great Britain's colonizing authority to the new United States government. However, this doctrine would soon be challenged legally in the early 19th century, and this challenge would compel the United States Supreme Court to rule on the veracity of this doctrine. Do you think this old concept from the time of Columbus could stand up when applied to evolving conditions in the New World? The answer may surprise you. The tangled story goes something like this. In 1773 and 1775, future Supreme Court Justice Thomas Johnson, the first justice appointed after the original 6 justices, purchased through the Illinois Wabash Company a vast swath of land from the Native American Piankashaw tribes. Subsequent to Johnson's purchase, William McIntosh, a fur trader and treasurer of the Indiana Territory, plus apparently a confidence man, claimed to own 11,560 acres along the Wabash River. He claimed to have acquired much of this acreage from land patents issued to him by the United States federal government. Historians question the legitimacy of the manner McIntosh acquired all of this property. He certainly had important connections with land speculators, including William Henry Harrison, governor of the Indiana Territory and future president of the United States. Eventually, these two men had a falling out. Harrison sued McIntosh for libel in 1805 and won a $400 settlement. McIntosh seemed to develop many enemies along his path. When Johnson's son inherited the justice's property, he discovered that William McIntosh claimed to own the same property. Joshua Johnson, the son, brought an action of ejectment, which is a civil action to recover possession of title, against McIntosh in the United States District Court for the District of Illinois. He contended that Johnson's claim of title was superior to the McIntosh claim because Thomas Johnson's purchase had preceded the McIntosh claim. But the district court dismissed the Johnson claim on the grounds that the Piankashaw had no right to transfer or sell the property. The plaintiffs, as you can imagine, appealed the decision to the United States Supreme Court. In 1823, John Marshall, writing the opinion for the Supreme Court, affirmed the dismissal of the Johnson claim. Since McIntosh acquired the land through the federal government and Johnson did not, Johnson could not prevail. The Chief Justice concluded that ownership of the land came into existence by virtue of the discovery of that land. So legally, the United States was the true owner of the property because it inherited ownership from Great Britain, the original discoverers. Tribes which occupied land were, at the moment of discovery, no longer completely sovereign and had no property rights. Only the discovering nation could take possession of the land.
I think we always wondered why did they think it was right or just to do what they did was, to take our lands and to push us off our lands and try to eliminate us as a people. And then we discovered this doctrine of discovery, and it just kind of made things understandable as to where they got their direction from.
When Columbus landed, and he went back and he reported, and they said then, the leaders, and the Vatican was the most powerful voice in the world at that time. A papal bull, 1493, 1 year later. If there are no Christian nations in this new land you have discovered, I declare those lands to be empty. Terra nullius, a very old Roman law that had been exercised in Africa, India, Europe. Further, if there are people there and they are not Christians, they do not have a right of title to land. They have only the right of occupancy. From our perspective, the same right as a rabbit running on the ground or a turkey.
Marine salvage is the process of recovering a ship and its cargo after a shipwreck or other maritime casualty. Salvage may encompass towing, refloating a vessel, or effecting repairs to a ship. Today, protecting the coastal environment from spillage of oil or other contaminants is a high priority. Before the invention of radio, salvage services would be given to a stricken vessel by any ship that happened to be passing by. Nowadays, most salvage is carried out by specialist salvage firms with dedicated crew and equipment. The legal significance of salvage is that a successful salver is entitled to a reward, which is a proportion of the total value of the ship and its cargo. The amount of the award is determined subsequently at a hearing on the merits by a maritime court in accordance with Articles 13 and 14 of the International Salvage Convention of 1989. The common law concept of salvage was established by the English Admiralty Court, and is defined as a voluntary successful service provided in order to save maritime property in danger at sea, entitling the salvor to a reward. And this definition has been further refined by the 1989 convention. Originally, a successful salvage was one where at least some of the ship or cargo was saved. Otherwise, the principle of no cure, no pay meant that the salvor would get nothing. In the 1970s, a number of marine casualties of single-skin hull tankers led to serious oil spills. Such casualties were unattractive to salvors, so the Lloyd's Open Form (LOF) made provision that
is overthrew it. Six and Chestnut, and they took the nationality and birthrights away from the Moors, and different Moors were in government. They told them step down or die. Do you understand? And they instituted in 1779 the Negro, the black crap, retroactively into the history documents. They started burning documents. They started hiding documents, transferring books into different areas of the countries and into secret societies. And they started making up new records. And in the new records, they started listing the Moors as blacks, Negroes, according to the territories. And they take the children and send the children to the Northeast Territory, they send them to the Southeast Territory. They take them from the Southeast Territory, send them to the Northwest Territory, and vice versa across the Nile River, which you call the Mississippi. And they've been playing the game to even do it in military. Then
you don't know. And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your